All right. Yes.
Almost iconic. Taking action in the almost.
Okay. So today we are interviewing Miss Cassie Omohundro. Okay, I got it right. And I feel like, speaking of taking action and the almost, Cassie is a very clear example of that because she is building something really special, and she's not just waiting for everything to be perfect. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that have to come together for it, but she is just taking action. And I feel like that's the whole point of our podcast. Sometimes that might not always come across that way, but today it really, I feel like, is going to come across. So thank you for being the true example of taking action in the almost.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we're so excited.
What is the heart, before you're even starting this business, why did you even feel like you wanted to create what you're doing right now, the High Tide Collective?
So I've been an entrepreneur my entire career. And what I have learned, and I'm now also a business consultant, and so what I've learned through my personal experiences and the experiences of my clients is that running a business can feel lonely and hard, and that surrounding yourself with community is really important. But most importantly, taking care of the person behind the organization is the most important, because ultimately they are the foundation of their organization and what they're building. And the better that they are, the better they can be for their team, for their company, truthfully for their family, for their community, ultimately the world. I mean, it's a little altruistic, but the founder is the foundation. And so I want to take care of that founder. And it's been hard, like we've talked about. Is it an entrepreneur? Is it only for entrepreneurs? And really, we're starting to call who we are servicing builders, not construction builders, but builders, people who are building a team, building a company, building a community, building an organization, because they have to take care of others. So we have to take care of them so that they can better serve others. And so that's what we're really doing, is building this ecosystem where we will take care of the builder so that they can be the best them, be the best foundation for them to build upon going forward.
That's so good.
I love that. I do. I feel like the part where you said the builders, because that just encompasses so many different types of people. Because it may be somebody who is an entrepreneur who is building a company and not building a team, or they are just building a team, but it's not their company. So it's like that encompasses so many different things.
So many.
But the name of this amazing thing that you're doing is called High Tide Collective.
It is.
So love that name. Could you share a little bit more about how the name came to be?
The tides come and go. The change, and everything changes in an instant, right? It's actually not instant. It's every 12 hours, but it changes and looks completely different. So what we think we have at that moment can be very different in a short period of time. And so the tide is a really powerful force, and high tide is the most beautiful when the banks are full and you look out, like it is such a beautiful time of day, and it just is a reminder that anything can happen. The other piece of that is they say that a rising tide lifts all ships, and what I really want to do is create the harbor to bring these builders together so that together they can rise, because it is the power of the community that, and surrounding yourself. And my hope is that as we build these places, that they are inspired not just by the place that they are and the opportunity to slow down, but also the people that they're surrounded with.
So what exactly, for the viewer that doesn't know, Lindsay and I had a chance to get to be on property, and it was just incredibly inspiring and beautiful. But what exactly does that look like in your mind of someone that doesn't know? What are they going to be walking into or coming to or joining?
So the flagship property is going to be in Midway, Georgia, which is about 35 minutes outside of Savannah. So we have a 62-acre property, and when it is built out, will be a 40 guest room facility. It's a membership-based organization. So the idea is that they have a place to get out to rest and recharge. So the two signature products are the Rest and Recharge and the Builder Intensive. The Rest and Recharge is a 3-night, 4-day get out of your office and work on you. And then the Builder Intensive is more knowledge based. So the Rest and Recharge, there's no content. They are coming to take care of them, whatever that looks like. And then the Builder Intensive is more like, I want to learn about this content. And then they have the time to learn. You go to a workshop or a conference or an annual meeting, and it's all networking, all learning, and you work hard to get out of your business to go do those things, and then you go back and then you feel behind, and so you jump back in your business and you don't really have time to implement all of those things.
Right.
So that builder intensive will be a combination of learning and working, so that when you go back you can actually start to implement. So yes, the property right now, I just gave you like all of the things and not the property
No, that's
itself.
perfect.
No,
I feel like that
it's so good.
shares exactly what you'd be walking into and experiencing.
I think the biggest shift for me is that I thought I had to build the property out. You know, when it's done, it will be like a boutique resort, right? I mean, 40 guest suites, all ensuite accommodations. All the rooms are a combination of luxury sleeping, place to recharge yourself and your soul, but also workstations that are, you know, monitors and keyboards and your reading glasses and your strength, because we all need those, and everything is ready to just work. So it's not a place to escape to, it's a place to go work on yourself and your business, whatever that looks like for you. And then, you know, the communal dining in the oyster house, and the breathwork and yoga studio, and the gym, and the pools, and the pickleballs, and the walking trails. I mean, all of the things you would have in a resort when it's done. But the reality is that the property exists right now. And we've hosted retreats there. And I'm like, why am I waiting to build this thing until I have the funds to build it? It's time to get building now.
I love that.
Well, I was going to say two things. I had two thoughts when you were saying all of that. One is that what's interesting is before any of this, well, it may have been an idea, but it was certainly like just an idea, I think. We had our founding partner mentor retreat at this place. So essentially you have already done what your heart is to do, because we felt so like we were out, because it's kind of, you have to know where it is to get to it. And the name of the road is interesting. But when you get there, you're away in beautiful marsh scenery, the water, the trees. It's so beautiful, such a peaceful, serene place. But we felt, you know, taken care of and relaxed and all the things. We had this beautiful dinner out on the patio, which is what your vision is. And we were doing it before, you know, we were already doing it. So I feel like that whole idea that let's just start is wise, because we gain so much from that experience, and so many people can without it being this exact perfect. I mean, it's taking action in the almost. But the other thought that I had when you were saying about you learn, and then you just go straight back into work and you're like, ah, because I had a team retreat in February, and I didn't plan for this, but we had learning experience, and then the last day there was like this big window of time where there was nothing. And I was kind of panicking, because I was like, oh my gosh, these ladies have traveled all the way here to do this and I haven't given them enough whatever. But the ladies were all like, no, we need, like, how often do you get to go away? You get to learn, but then you also have space to just like read a book or think over what you learned and be able to digest it before you go right back into real life. And so that to me is so important that you recognize that and are going to do that, because business owners for sure need to be able to not only think about what they just learned, but also that they're going to have to go right back into the business and have that time to just rest and reset.
I mean, this whole thing started because when I had my last business, you know, I always thought like the family vacation was when I got to take care of myself. But that was not the case at all. I mean, at that point, I had 2 small children. I traveled with my parents, and I was like, I had to plan the vacation. I did work double time to get out of my business to go on the vacation. Then I was the mom making sure everybody had a great vacation. And then I'd go back and I was more depleted because now I'm exhausted. And a lot of times I would take work and think, oh, I'm going to read a business book. I'm going to do some strategic planning, or I'm going to catch up on my email. I didn't do any of that. So then I went back more tired, feeling unsuccessful because I hadn't done the thing, and then had to jump back into work hard again to get it back. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So like, when does the founder or the builder take care of themselves?
Yeah.
Because they're always taking care of everybody else.
Right. Yeah.
So this whole business is based on the premise that the founder, that builder, needs to take care of themselves because they're the foundation. And the better they are, the better they can serve all of the people, whether it's their family or their community or their customers or their staff. So that's how it started. But yeah, you need that time. And that's why that rest and recharge, there's not content that's built in, because some people recharge by connection and community, some people by quiet and reflection. And so there will be a host of things that people can do, but nothing is mandatory, because it's not like a scheduled agenda, because somebody might really just want to come and like binge Netflix.
Yeah.
All they do is watch shows, and then by the third day they like to sit at the pool, and then they have a conversation and they're like, this is glorious. And then they go back, and there will be others that will come and they'll say, I just want quiet time where I can work on a business plan, or I can write a book, or I can do whatever, write my business. I can do whatever. They can do whatever they want. But the goal is that everyone on property has is in the same place. They're building something. They're carrying the weight of building something. And so when they're sitting at the pool, or they're sitting at dinner or breakfast, or they're doing yoga on the sandbar, the person they're beside is somebody who has the same challenges and the same life that they're living, so that they can be inspired by them or learn a little something by them, or if nothing else, just have the camaraderie of knowing that they're on the same walk as somebody else. That's the whole reason I'm building what I'm building, is to take care of those people so that they can take care of the rest of the people they support.
So beautiful. I think that's just, to me, like when I heard your vision, specifically when we were just having dinner and you were hosting on the back porch with the water in the background, I'm like, this, because I think if the majority of our listeners who are entrepreneurs, we've experienced where you've put everything into something and you've gone to these things because you're like, oh, I want to race this next level. Or even you go on, if you're in sales, like an incentive trip, or you go somewhere but it's packed so full, you're exhausted, and even it's nice to bring your families, but it's like, it can be really satisfying to get away, but also to grow your business while also being able to recharge. And for me, movement is so important. So to be able to, the idea that you can go there and not at the expense of losing your health. Because like, how many conferences have you been to that you like go and you're just like eating whatever and you drinking whatever at the end, and then by the time you're done, you just feel exhausted. And just like you were saying,
So the whole foundation is built around full spectrum wellness. And so that is health, your health, true health wellness, your mental space, the community, or the health of your relationships. We put play in there because there are people that's just important. Like you forget doing that.
Yeah.
So play is a pillar. So there are the pillars that will support all of those, that aspect of full spectrum wellness, why people are on property. So however they need to feel well, whatever they need to be nourished, that's what we'll do. And all of the food will be healthy, but not feel like you're on a diet. Yes. So like my goal is that they feel nourished.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
We both said that the same
time.
Nourished.
It really
nourished.
is. Like, I feel like it's such a good mental shift too. You cannot pour into your business or your environment when you're depleted. And so I just think that is so crucial and so important what you're doing, and I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a thought, and this might be like a curveball.
Oh gosh.
Not really, but I'm curious because it just popped into my head. So 2 weeks ago, we had an episode talking about how some of us grew up in families with entrepreneurs and some of us didn't. But as an adult, for instance, I was saying how my parents weren't really the entrepreneurs. They had the 9 to 5. They were working full time, working hard, but they weren't necessarily building a business. So I had this thought, is there a place here, say for maybe it's a younger person or even a woman in their 40s or 50s who is like, I have always had the dream of starting a business, but I have no idea where to start. I have no idea what to do. I don't have really anybody in my life who can really give me good advice. But getting away to a place, like, because they may have a lot of kids, they may have distractions, they may be working a 9 to 5, and they're like, I just need a place where I can get away, but also be poured into in a way where I'm going to learn things that I have never learned, be inspired, run ideas through people. Like, is there a space for that?
So I'm going to answer. I have 2 answers to that question.
Okay, I love it.
All right. So the first is, I had an entrepreneur say to me, "Can I bring my kids?" And I was like, "No,
No, you may not."
no. I mean, we love them, but no. And he was like, "But my wife and I are both entrepreneurs. We travel with our children, and our children are aspiring entrepreneurs. So can we bring our children?" And I was like, no. And, and then I was like, but hold on, let me think about this. Let me think about this again. We're talking about having focus sessions throughout the year. And I said, well, what if we did a session that was for rising entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial families? And then that way we could do entrepreneurial camps for the young ones while the parents were having their rest and recharge.
Wow.
So the first answer is that, like, if there is, that's more of like an on-property experience where families could bring their kids and they could all experience it together. So that's one aspect of it. The other side of it is that this whole thing kind of started because I was a young entrepreneur. I was 20, I think one.
That is young.
It was really young. I mean, really, I was like the top Girl Scout selling cookie person.
You were
in the
always
that is
It's always,
funny.
but like
Somehow that doesn't surprise me about you.
who wants cookies? But everybody
Is that
wants
going to be
cookies.
part of the experience? Girl Scout cookies?
Maybe
Because
I'm eating, feeling nourished. They're nourishing, right?
I mean, they're nourishing in a sense.
Let's nourish me.
Nourishment to your soul.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, so I've always been an entrepreneur, but when I was young, I mean, I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't have anybody. My mom was corporate, and my dad had a job. He was an entrepreneur in the beginning. He later became one, but I didn't have anybody to learn from, and because of that, made some big mistakes. Like I had some big learning lessons that were costly in time and financial resources, and so I can remember being in Atlanta, and was at Market, because at that point I had a store, my retail store, and I remember I literally can remember the point of the sidewalk where I was standing in Atlanta looking up at the America's Mart, and I thought, someday I just want to have enough money that I can have a nonprofit that I can gift business owners like grants, not the ones that the banks will give money to because they qualify, but the businesses that are really, they're doing the work, but they've made some mistakes, but they need help to get over that. Like, how do I want to help those people? And so I think the vision to have a nonprofit has been in my heart for a long time, to help business owners. And then I had two entrepreneurial young adult, my kids, like my two boys, as they have aged, they have become very entrepreneurial. And I watched my oldest, he will actually kill me for talking about this, but it's okay. He's going to have to get used to it because I'm going to say it a lot.
Get used to
Love
it.
you, Grant. So he didn't want to go to college. He didn't have a major that he felt was important for college. He's not interested in going in trades. He's not interested in being in the military. He just wants to start. And I'm like, okay, but how do you do that? And how do you do that when you don't have access to contracts or capital or community or knowledge, truthfully, even work ethic yet? I mean, you're 18 years old, you're just starting. Even the most driven young adult doesn't have what they need for that yet.
Yeah.
And so, and in this time, like, where do they go? They go to the internet to learn from. And there's a lot of really great knowledge there, but there's also some stuff that's not so great, or people who are not so great. And so I was like, how do I serve that person? So really, it's been my boys that have honed in who I want to serve, the entrepreneurial group that I want to serve with this nonprofit aspect of things. So we created the Rising Tide for the next generation. So High Tide Collective will serve the current generation of builders, and the Rising Tide will serve the next generation. I'm actually right now working on bringing in an executive director to start the foundation for me, and we'll start fundraising this fall. We're ready to go. I thought in the beginning that it would be like, make the money through High Tide Collective and then start the foundation. But really the vision is that it's a little bit of a work exchange. So we're going to put an entrepreneurial village on property for these young entrepreneurs, because they want to get out of their house, right? If they went to college, they went to military, they would leave, right? And they would get to go grow as a human before they got to grow in their career. So I want to create a place where they can go grow, right?
That's
like
so good.
So they can get out of their home and out of their environment. Because I've been an entrepreneur my entire career, and when Grant said he didn't want to go to college, I was like, what do you mean? We've been doing this whole track your whole life. I almost felt like, well, did I just fail as a mom? Why isn't he doing the thing? Go get a job, go to college. That's what you do. And I've been an entrepreneur my entire career. So can you imagine if some child went to their very corporate family and said, I'm not doing that, I want to do this? And that I think that there's a lot of parents out there that don't know how to handle that. They don't have the experience to then be able to guide them or direct them. So the vision is that we create this entrepreneurial village, for a place for them to live, and that there would be a work exchange. But the biggest thing I learned from Grant is that so often these young entrepreneurs want to follow their entrepreneurial dreams, but they can't, because if they aren't working, then they're not doing anything. And if they're working, they're trading their time for money. So they don't have the time to then go become entrepreneurial, and they don't even know who they are yet. So my hope is that by being a part of the Rising Tide, that they would come, they would have time to work. There would be an exchange of work. So instead of having to go make money at another job, they would work some on the property, and that would be the exchange for room and board. But while they're doing that, they're also surrounded in community by all of these other powerful builders and entrepreneurs are there. So they're a part of that. They're learning how to be an entrepreneur and how to have work ethic from being a part of the process, but then also surrounded by the conversations they're hearing. And then there'll be a mentorship program where there will be some sort of curriculum, probably not accredited, because what I'm hearing is that these people who are falling into this are really not choosing college. So to make it accredited doesn't matter. Now, maybe should there be some certificate? I don't know. We're figuring that part out.
Yeah.
But I'm not making it a college on my property on purpose. They need mentorship and they need knowledge, but what they really need is support, and they need time to grow and figure out who they are as a young adult.
I'm having the word bridge come up because bridge is like this word for me that comes up so often. And to me, it's like you're being the bridge between what somebody is, where they don't have the knowledge or the experience or the people in their life or even the age, the time. And you're being the bridge between those two things. And I also am thinking, like, how often have we talked about how high school does not teach you the things that
personal
you need
finance
for life,
and the things.
those things,
Yes,
like
no doubt.
learning the taxes. You can start a business, but this is actually what you're going to make.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's such a missed opportunity in high school, and it feels like that is kind of what you're doing is filling the gap for that. And especially, girl, this thing needs to be like all over the place.
Yeah.
This needs to be very accessible to people because I feel like it's going to make such a big difference.
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, and that's the other piece that I've learned this through watching, right? Like the other piece that they're missing, other than the community and the knowledge and being able to grow up as a young adult, is capital. So many ideas and so many things. I'm finding that with what I'm doing right now is in the middle of this capital raise. If the money was there, I would have built it by now.
That's
right?
how we feel about our podcast.
Yes.
We're like, we'd be like in a live studio if we just had
all the capital.
thousands of dollars. Yeah.
So as being a part of the process, the goal is that everybody gets up to a $50,000 grant.
Wow.
So they would get a minimum of a $10,000, but they could earn more based on their proposal. So they would work with their mentor. And I think it's kind of a 2-year program because I think the first 3 to 6 months, they're just growing up, right? They're learning how to live away from home. They're learning how to manage their personal finances. They're doing some soul searching about what they want and who they want to serve and what they want to build. Then they start working with their mentor to build the business plan and to do the research, all while they're working in a part of this experience and this ecosystem.
So cool.
And then they would write their business plan and then almost pitch like Shark Tank style, where they come in and they present it to the board.
Yeah.
And then they could earn all of the 50,000, or they would start with a minimum of 10. Then they could come back to the board and pitch again and say I've revised and get more money because as entrepreneurs we're constantly need access to more capital,
Right.
and so it's not like school, like you get a C and so here's the money for what a C is. Like it's this is real life now,
Right.
And in the beginning I thought, well, everybody just gets 50, and then somebody was like, no, that's not how it works. You walk into the bank to ask for money, you don't get the same amount of money as the other person. It's based on your merit and what you've put together. And I was like, that is very true. Same with pitching to investors. I could pitch side by side with someone. They're not going to give us the same amount of money. We're going to tell them what we're doing and they're going to give it based on merit. So I think we'll follow a similar, I mean, all of us is very hypothetical at this moment because the board doesn't exist and the organization is all still coming together. But that's the vision, is that it's up to 50 and that they can come back and get more as they dial in on their process.
I love that because you're teaching them to be able to present, first of all, and then they're going to have to believe in themselves for anybody else to believe in them, and that's the real world. So everybody else might say, no, it doesn't make sense to everybody else, but if you keep going and you create a plan and you have a vision for it, and so to be among visionaries, because so often if you tell your business plan to the wrong person, they're going to be like, well, that doesn't make sense. I've had so many, even just in my life, where I've shared it and I'm like, wow, buzzkill. Okay, thanks for that. It takes a unique person to have a big vision like you that it can view this, and you want those people that get that to come alongside you. So to cultivate that in young adults, I think, is amazing, and to cultivate that in our age, like what you're doing, and just to be reinforced with like, I don't want to do the traditional thing, and to be among others that want that for you and believe that success is abundant for everyone. And I think that's the gift you get around most entrepreneurs, is you want to see everyone succeed for the most part.
100%.
And I feel like you're creating that culture of abundance.
That's the whole essence of the ecosystem of High Tide Collective Property, that you are in this space surrounded by other people who are doing what you're doing so that you can share. I mean, if I sat next to many of my corporate friends that are nearing retirement, they are like counting the days and the years, right? They're like, I am on the downhill slide. I cannot wait to be done, which is fine. That's their journey. And so, and I think, I don't know what else, I won't ever stop. I mean, at some point I would like to have more time freedom, you know, but I don't know that I ever want to truly be done.
Yeah.
And so,
which means you still have so much purpose, because I feel like, and not that those people don't have purpose, but it's just everybody is so different. God obviously creates us so unique. And clearly your path, you're on this path right now that you're like, I'm not ready to retire. I'm not ready to be done.
I feel like I'm just gearing up. I'm taking all of the things that I've learned through my entire career and the connections I've made, and it's like, I feel like this is the time to bring it all together. And I don't think there's anything slowing down right now for me.
Yeah. There's a statistic, I think, that says that most female entrepreneurs start between like ages of 40 and 49. So you're in the typical range of somebody.
I mean, I started a long time ago, but I'm starting this right now for sure. I mean, the building out of High Tide Collective and Rising Tide from a nonprofit standpoint is literally the biggest thing I've ever done. And I'm doing it at 50, to be 50 this summer. I'm doing it on the other side of divorce. I'm doing it when I should be winding down and I'm gearing up. When Marsh Manor. So Marsh Manor is the flagship property for High Tide Collective. That's our property here in the Savannah area. When that builds out, it is a $20 million build out. I don't have $20 million. So here I am doing this, like all these things where I don't have the financial resources. I'm at a time when I should be slowing down, not speeding up. I'm doing it when I've just literally changed my whole personal financial dynamic through divorce. And I really feel like I'm doing it because I want to be the case study to show anybody that they can have whatever they want to be.
Yeah.
Because including my children. And I said to Mason the other day, I was like, I'm hoping I'm showing you this. I hope I'm teaching you this. And then I said, and I hope I show you that actually can happen. Because I can say the words to you, but I want to live it because I want to be the case study to say, okay, look at what I just created. I didn't have the resources to do it. I didn't have the experience or the knowledge, but I had the vision, I had the drive, I had the community, I had the connections, and I had the people that taught me how to go get the capital.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have to have all the things and all the answers. I just needed to have the resources to bring it together to make it happen. Yeah. And that's what I've learned through this whole process so far.
And that's so powerful. I think what is stirring your passion so much here is it's not just about you anymore. It's actually not about you anymore. Yeah. It's about literally going through all the things you went through and being like, this is what's needed and this is what people are craving and this is what I'm going to build for them.
Yes.
And it's literally such a passion project in this that I feel like that is why you don't feel tired. I mean, obviously we all feel tired, but you feel
if you don't feel tired,
I was like, wait a minute, do I look like I'm not tired?
You feel inspired to push forward and you feel fire of, no, I don't ever want to quit, because when you're walking into the purpose that God's called you to do, He equips you with each next step. And so it's awesome.
Thank
and
you.
I am so grateful that you're doing this and that we get to come alongside you and support you and encourage it and be there and all the things.
I know I'm like so hopeful that this is a catalyst, because I know you've wanted to kind of share this story on social media, which this will be shared. Yeah. And I feel like this is hopefully the start of your story being known and people hearing about it. And one thing I do want to say before we stop this amazing interview is that you have shared different pieces that have come together. And I know that there are a lot more that need to come together, but every time we talk, I'm like, the Lord is really showing up. And I feel like you cannot deny that in all of this and all of these things, whether you have to have the drive and you have to have all of these things. And I think that the Lord puts that inside of you. He gives you this desire to go and do it. But He is the one who orchestrates the conversations. He puts that person in your life. He allows us to meet each other. Even just orchestrating meeting at Heather's house that one day, and I don't know, something about you, I'm like, Cassie, I need to hang out with Cassie. And it's just been so fruitful. And then getting to bring Sophie along to the dinner, and now it's just a whole friendship thing.
Yeah,
and
we're all in.
We are. We're all into High Tide Collective. We can't wait. Sophie and I probably feel so drawn to this because I think even at our age, and it's like we feel like we need what you're doing. We need to go work on the property and get the $10,000
Our
grant.
live studio on property.
Yes, there is.
We can interview people that come.
I think that's been, everybody that I've talked to has said, build it and we want to come.
Yeah.
Please hurry up and build it.
And you're like,
and I'm like, I am trying so hard. This past 8 or 9 months, I've been really heads down working on capital raising. What I've learned about capital raising is that I'm right now selling a vision. I'm selling my vision, which everybody is on board with. They think, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then they're like, well, let me know once you get closer.
Yeah.
Once you're further down the road, let me know, and then I'll jump on board. Or you have the bigger capital raiser who wants to put their money to work. They need proof of concept.
Right.
The bank, I've already bought the real estate. The real estate's there. Some of the initial infrastructure's there. If I go to I've talked to commercial lenders. I go to the commercial lender and they say, well, show me your operating income, and then we can leverage the land and I can get you the capital you need to go to construction. I'm like, every place I went, I was like, well, once it's here, then it's amazing. But how do I get it there? And so after hearing so much interest and desire for the outcome, but so many roadblocks to get the money to build it, I've taken really the past 3 weeks to step back and be like, how do I back up? Like, how do we get through the maze? Because we know we need to get to the cheese. Like, how do we get to the cheese?
Right.
And so I'm like, there's got to be a different way. And so really the way is operating capital. So if we start showing operating capital, that gives the smaller investors more confidence, gives the bigger investors the numbers to show.
Proof,
It shows the commercial lender the proof. It helps me manage the holding cost of the property. I'm like, all right, well, here we go.
Yeah.
And so, like you started with, we had the Restore retreat there, and I've had other retreats there. I'm like, well, why am I not using this property?
Right.
So we had been thinking, build out the property before we build the community. I also knew there would be an online community, that bridge between like, how do we keep people in this world of taking care of themselves while they're home before they come back to the property, or take care of themselves in advance of coming to the property. And so I knew there would be an online piece of it. And I was like, but I didn't want it to just be another online community because there's so many of those. Like, how do I bring value to that? I also didn't want it to be called a retreat because that seems like a nice to have.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like coming on property, like the slowing down will help them go fast. And so I wanted to structure it so that it would be a part of their profit and loss. It's a part of their operational process. It's a part of their financial budgeting process, their time budgeting process, that this is something that they prepare for. So I was like, well, let's flip the switch and let's not wait. So I have 10 private rooms, and I really want them to have their own. And in the final process, they will have their own private bath that is, ensuite accommodations. But right now, they just need to know that it's not. So it's their private room with shared bathroom situation, and I can bring a chef on. I can do all the things. We can do yoga, and we can do breath work, and we can kayak, and we can do what I want to do. And so we've been heads down the past 3 weeks, rewriting, not changing the mission and the vision, but changing the go-to-market strategy so that we can start building the collective now. And then from there, show the rest of them. See, we are building it, and then the money can come, and then we can go through the bigger construction, the piece of it. So that piece I'm really excited about. So we are building out the next 6 months of events on property, and it's fun things like mahjong and needlepoint. So it's the things that you want to do, but you want to do them surrounded by the people that are inspiring.
Yeah, they get it. Yeah.
So if you're having conversation at the table while you're on play mahjong, but whatever, you're at the table doing the thing, and the conversation can be business oriented or whatever. It doesn't have to be, but it could go there, and then you're surrounded by those people. So, and did you know that needlepoint, I'm going to say this wrong, but somehow rewires the brain from trauma patterns? That repetitive. So there's a woman that I'm talking to who's going to do a talk on it about how it's good for your mental health, and then we'll do a needlepoint. So we're trying to build these events that we can do on property or remote. Yeah. So if we did the needlepoint thing, just as an example, she would do the talk about the therapeutic benefits of it. Then we would have a needlepoint project, so you could come on property and do it amongst, or you would get an experience in the box that would have like a playlist and like your little foods that we're going to serve, and the needlepoint project. And then that way people could do it remotely. So we're just trying to figure out like how can we be the bridge between on property and off property.
So good.
And then breath work and yoga and painting. Like we had some paint by number big, beautiful canvases done of the property. So we do painting on the marsh, autumnal painting on the marsh.
Learning how to do your makeup.
Learning how to
As
do
an
your
entrepreneur.
makeup. And then I have a photographer that's going to come in and do headshots. So if people need to update that. The other thing I thought about is like, what are the things that we need to do that I know hair would be good. What are the things that we need to do that we don't ever take the time to slow down to do? And then in that crunch moment, we're like, oh, we need that. And so I want to put some of that into play.
And going back to like the whole body wellness, I was thinking, because I was like, we need to get you somebody who sponsors you, who's like, these are my IV infusions, but I'm going to sponsor you.
So we already have that.
Yeah. Oh,
we already
awesome.
have that.
Dr. Sage.
Dr. Sage. That's right.
Yes. So founding partners, wellness partners. So she's a wellness partner for us. And so she'll come on. We're putting 2 treatment rooms onto property, and she'll come on and do peptides and all the things.
Listen, you also need to have people there who can wax eyebrows
Oh, yeah.
and all the things.
All the
because
things that we don't ever slow down for.
Like the chin hairs that people are getting, we can pluck those at the High Tide Collective.
There will be a magnifying mirror on every bathroom. Every bathroom.
Goodness.
A lit one.
And someone to like, hey, help me.
Yeah.
And a pair of readers in your strength on your desk.
Oh, I love that. That's so thoughtful.
Yes.
Because it's all membership based. So we can know who our members are. So before, it's not like you're just checking in a hotel.
Right.
You're checking into your collective, your property that is built for you. And so when you come, it's all designed for you. Matter of fact, we have a builder advisor that is going to be like when you onboard as a part of the process that gets to, the work that we have done the past 3 weeks has been so exciting and so tremendous. Like I can't wait to roll it all out.
I know. I'm ready.
I know. I'm like, let's go.
Let's go. We got this. This is so cool. You truly exemplify, I feel like, our heart behind this podcast, and hopefully what we inspire through this conversation.
Thank
and
you.
we hope that you guys take out of it is that literally just taking action when you feel like God has called you to something, that there's nothing honestly that can stop you if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. So get those sparkly boots on.
Sparkly
Get
boots.
at it. Yeah.
Okay, so if people are like, this is so interesting, I want to be a part of it, even want to sponsor it, whatever the case may be, tell us how we can get a hold of you. Tell us what the best next step is for somebody who's like, sign me up.
So right now that would be the website, hightidecollective.com.
Okay.
And then on there is all of the information on the membership options. There's links if you're interested in investing. There's also a way to get on my calendar there. And so as a startup, I will talk to anybody at any time about anything.
Yeah.
So whether they're interested in membership or
Is there an email list sign up? So
there
they can
is.
stay
Yep,
up to date?
absolutely.
Yeah, smart.
For sure.
Perfect.
So, just getting to me, like they can get to me through the website.
Perfect.
And then I'll have whatever conversation needs to be
Yeah.
had, whether it's they're looking at being an affiliate or a wellness partner or a founder or an investor or a member or whatever they would like. We'll
Love
talk
it.
about this all day long
great.
with whomever would like to talk about it.
Yay.
That. So
That's
we'll make
fantastic.
sure that we have the website in the bio for if you're watching or if you're listening to the podcast. If you're watching it on Instagram, I think you'd be fine with this, that we could have it in our link tree.
Yeah,
Just so you could easily click into your website and get some information. So easily accessible to get to you.
Thank
and
you.
honestly, my hope and prayer through this, like I said, is like a catalyst to get your story out there. Because to me, when we hear your story, we're both just like, oh my gosh. And I feel like, just in full transparency, the first time you ever told me about this was a long time ago. And I feel like I was like, because I feel like you were just like, quickly saying it. And I was just like, because I had never heard of anything like that. So at first I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't really fully understand it. But then when we went to your dinner and you shared from your heart, which is obviously always the best way, it was like, oh, wow, this is so amazing. And not, it clicked. I think
So
that's
those
what it was.
dinners, I did 2 of those dinners and then a retreat on the property. My retreat, not a retreat for somebody else, but a retreat of the people who were interested in either becoming a Founders Club member or a founding investor, or they already had been. Those people came together. And it was those 2 dinners and that retreat that I was like, oh, we don't have to wait. Like, we're doing the thing. So why aren't we just doing the thing?
Yes.
And so it was that moment. And I felt this momentum building as we were doing those. And then I was like, but wait, we got to put the brakes on. So we put the brakes on. To be dark for 3 weeks has been really hard. I mean, we went underground and we had a full organization strategic planning meeting, and then I've written hundreds of pages of content on what we're doing and built some really cool things. The stuff that you guys heard at the dinner, that was really the foundation. That's the mission. That has not changed.
Yeah.
Right.
But then how we're going to go about it is that has been really fun to build. So this week is the week that we're building out all of the tools and the resources. So the website right now is down, but it'll be up by the end of the week.
Okay.
With all of the new content.
So by the time this is out next
By the time this is out, it'll be there.
It'll be.
By the time this is out, it will be back up, and we'll have it linked and all the things.
I can't wait to do the work
Yeah.
so that I can build the thing so that this can be my life.
Yeah. Don't hesitate. Reach out today. Be a part of the High Tide Collective. So exciting.
This is great. I'm so thankful that you shared with everybody.
Yes.
And I really, really feel like you're going to just keep making waves and raising all the ships.
Raising all the ships.
The tide is going to be so high.
Rise with the tide. The high tide is the best.
The tide is high.
Should we pray?
Yes, let's pray.
All right.
Do you want me to pray?
Yeah, sure. I'll pray. All right. God, I won't him. Father, thank you so much for allowing us to be here today, Lord. And I just pray you continue to just give us clarity as we take our next steps, and for those watching as they are thinking on their next steps, Lord, that you would just remind us that we are can do anything with you, Lord, and that we trust you. We surrender to you, Lord. We're excited and thankful for Cassie and the amazing opportunity that High Tide Collective is and the people that she's going to impact through this, and she already has impacted, Lord. I just pray that we would just continue to shine and be a light for you in everything that we're doing and in this journey. We love you so much. We thank you for this time together and for the women that are watching. We love you. Amen.
Amen.
Yay.
Yay. Well, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening today. We are so grateful that you tuned into Almost Iconic. We would love it if you would subscribe, like, share, and tag us if you do, and say what resonated with you. We love you guys.
Love you. Yes to all of that.